I'm Kirby Allison, and I consider myself immensely privileged to have traveled extensively while exploring the world of quality, craftsmanship, and tradition. From the preeminent tailoring houses of London's Savile Row and the majestic beauty of the Scottish countryside on a traditional driven game shoot, all the way to the rich tobacco fields and cigar factories of Cuba's finest cigar producers. Today, this journey of discovery continues as I set out on a 2-week grand tour to explore the world of quality, craftsmanship, and tradition here in Italy. Italy is, of course, a country steeped in history, from the Roman Empire of ancient times through the Renaissance of the 15th and 16th centuries to the modern state that it is today. Its magnificent cities always manage to combine a deep respect for the past with a keen outlook towards the future. But more than anything else, Italy is about the Italian people, always stylish and well-dressed, friendly and forthcoming. On this trip, we shall be meeting up with a wonderful array of celebrated Italian artisans and craftspeople. From bespoke tailors and shoemakers to a single vineyard winemaker, and even bespoke pen makers. This is truly an experience not to be missed, so I hope you'll join me, Kirby Allison, as we set out for what promises to be a truly extraordinary journey exploring the world of quality, craftsmanship, and tradition of this great country. Hi, I'm Kirby Allison, and welcome back to our series exploring the world of quality, craftsmanship, and tradition here in Rome. This journey has taken me from Florence, the birthplace of the Renaissance period, to the beautiful Tuscan hillside and to the seaside in Naples. I've now arrived in Rome, Italy's capital, founded in 753 BC by its first king, Romulus, after whom, of course, the city was named. The history of this great city is incredible, dating back not hundreds of years, but thousands of years. One of my favorite things to do when I first arrive to a new city is to explore it on foot. And as luck will have it, my good friend Eric Jensen happens to be in Rome as well with his wife, Rachel. So what better thing to do than to meet up with Eric and enjoy a gentleman's day out in Rome. But first, after such a long trip, I'm in need of a haircut and a good wet shave. Rome has a rich tradition of barbers, with many dating back over 100 years. But one of my favorites, Antonio of Max&Jò, is relatively new for this city, having started his now iconic barber shop in 1990. Located just moments from the Spanish Steps in the historical Colonna district, Antonio is doing his part to keep this rich tradition alive here in Rome. So join me as I set out to enjoy a gentleman's day out here in Rome. Antonio.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.
And what an excitement to be here in Rome for a proper shave. Here, I'll take this off. it's a beautiful shop you have here.
Thank you.
And I've been looking forward to this the entire trip. I mean, Rome, of course, has a incredible tradition of barbers.
Yes.
And one of the things I've just been so impressed by here in Italy is that, of course, London has hundreds of years of history. So does France. But whenever you come to a place like Rome, you really feel thousands of years of history. Have a rich tradition stretching back a very long time.
Yes, yes. Qui a Roma abbiamo una grandissima e lunghissima tradizione di barbieri e qui ci troviamo nel rione Colonna e abbiamo avuto l'onore e abbiamo l'onore tuttora di servire famiglie nobili che vivono qui da secoli.
So whenever you're doing the wet shave and the haircut, it's still done in the traditional way that it has been here for decades or centuries?
E certamente, tuttora noi continuiamo a mantenere la tradizione del barbiere di una volta, mettendoci un po' di modernità. E assolutamente sì, tuttora cerchiamo di mantenere la vecchia tradizione del barbiere, ma con un po' di innovazione, ok? Usando dei prodotti un po' di nicchia, dei pennelli un po' di nicchia. L'unica cosa che cambia è l'uso della lama fissa, per una questione igienica.
Yeah, let's get started with a nice shave.
Comfortable?
Mm-hmm.
Uno dei miei momenti preferiti durante la rasatura è la preparazione del panno caldo. Io vado a preparare la pelle alla rasatura e la cosa che mi piace di più è anche far sentire al cliente questi profumi del barbiere, ok? E quindi andrò adesso ad applicarti un pre-shave e l'applicazione di 2 panni caldi. Andiamo con l'applicazione del primo panno caldo, non troppo bollente, ma tiepido, così che la pelle si abitua al calore. Is good?
Mm-hmm.
Il signore vedo che ha rasato la barba, credo 2 giorni fa, quindi non andremo a sforzare troppo con la rasatura. Faremo 2 passate, la prima di pelo, la seconda andrò in obliquo, così che alla fine della rasatura il suo viso non è irritato, ma sentirà una bella sensazione molto rilassante. Questo è anche uno degli altri momenti che mi piace di più, è la montatura del sapone. Quando vediamo che la montatura del sapone è a buon punto, andiamo all'applicazione sul viso. Adesso è tutto pronto e procediamo alla rasatura. Ok, sì. La cosa fondamentale per ottenere una buona rasatura è seguire il verso della barba. Senza andare a stressare troppo la pelle. Se vediamo che il sapone si è un po' seccato, andiamo a rinumidire la barba. Il cliente non deve sentire alcuna sensazione che che la barba venga tirata.
It's a beautiful lather.
Grazie. Fatta la prima passata, adesso andremo a rinsaponare la barba e a dare un'ultima, faremo un'altra passatina senza stirare troppo la pelle, perché la sua barba, essendo molto corta, si irriterebbe.
Yeah.
Ok?
Shaving every day.
Yes. L'importanza di questa ciotola è che la seconda passata che noi andremo a fare, il sapone rimanga caldo, perché il cliente non può avere questa sensazione di freddo, non si rilasserebbe. L'importanza di questa ciotola, avendo il doppio fondo, fa sì che il sapone, quando andiamo a insaponare per la seconda volta, il sapone rimanga caldo, così che il cliente ha questa sensazione di calore, ok? Ok, completato il secondo passaggio, adesso andiamo a applicare una piccola crema dopo barba. Mettiamo un panno caldo e alla fine concludiamo con un panno freddo per chiudere i pori. È una bella... e abbiamo fatto.
Grazie.
Ti si ascolta. Questo è il nostro panno freddo, così che andiamo a chiudere i pori e tutte, se ci sono quelle micro, diciamo, quei micro arrossamenti vanno via. E infine andiamo a mettere un dopo barba, così lasciamo una buona, questa andiamo ad applicare questo dopo barba, così il cliente sentirà questo profumo della colonia.
And that's an alcohol-based?
Yes.
Yeah. Is that your preference? The alcohol, does it help anything
Yes,
for the
for
skin?
finish, yes. Come tocco finale, sì, mi piace questo piccolo dopo barba a base alcolica per dare questa sensazione di frio.
Yeah.
È stato un piacere servirla e spero che
Beautiful
si è
shade.
trovato bene. Grazie.
You think we could also clean this up a little bit?
Yes, yes.
Full service.
Ok, adesso andiamo al lavaggio dei capelli. Ok. Adesso andremo ad effettuare un taglio totalmente a forbice, visto che il signore ha questo stile molto classico, e andremo a rispettare le varie vertigini che la testa ha, senza stravolgere troppo il taglio. Sir, in this part you have the natural line. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. In the back, a little bit fade.
Well, not fade, more of just with the scissors in the back.
Yes.
With a little bit of length.
Perfect.
So whenever you have customers come in, are they primarily shaves, haircuts, or does everyone do a shave and a haircut?
Dipende. Abbiamo dei clienti che vengono qui e vogliono godersi il trattamento completo come una volta, con lo shampoo che viene fatto tante volte anche in avanti come una volta, o altri vengono solo a rilassarsi per una buona rasatura. Adesso andremo a fare bene i contorni, così che si vedono bene tutti i contorni di collo e basette.
Montebella.
You like?
Yeah. I needed this after 3 weeks in Italy.
You're welcome. Adesso andiamo a fonare i capelli, gli diamo la piega desiderata e poi se il signore desidera a little bit product for fix.
Please, yeah.
Okay.
Best hair I've ever had.
Thank you. È stato un immenso piacere.
Pleasure was mine.
Grazie. Signore, alla fine del nostro servizio noi fa piacere far visitare il nostro museo, dove abbiamo molti attrezzi antichi, e se lei ci fa l'onore di lasciare la sua firma qui come ricordo di questa bellissima esperienza.
Ah, it'd be an honor. Ah, thank you. And we'll go back.
Prego.
Tonio, thank you so much. This was incredible. This is, the hair is so good, I hate to even put a hat on. Ah, wow. Well, could there be possibly a better way to start the day here in Rome? I think the weather's beautiful, the sun is shining, I've got an incredible shave and haircut. There couldn't be a better start to the day. And what's better, Eric Jensen and Rachel Jensen are in town, so I'm gonna meet up with the two of them. So join me for a gentleman's day out in Rome. Buongiorno, buongiorno.
Come va? Tutto bene.
Well, how great to see you guys here in Rome.
Fantastic.
What a coincidence, and thanks for joining me for today.
Well, welcome to the Spanish Steps, the infamous Spanish Steps.
Yeah. Anyway, as you can see, we've got the Spanish Steps all to ourselves.
Yes, it's always like this. However, I know a great place for a cafe just down the steps.
Ah, well, let's go enjoy some coffee.
Andiamo.
Yeah. Wow, it's beautiful.
Beautiful. So normally we take our cafe at the bar, but Greco is famous for sitting down, so we have to sit down.
Okay, well, let's go do that. Yeah. No better way to start the morning than with red velvet.
I know, and such beautiful paintings and architecture. It's one of our favorite places to come here in Roma. It's Caffè Greco, which is right off the main, high street of Via Condotti, where by the Spanish Steps.
Well, one of the things I've been learning, of course, is the importance of coffee culture here in Italy.
It's huge.
There's a ritual to it, and there is a tradition to it that includes, just like with tailoring, many unspoken rules.
Exactly.
Definitely.
So, normally we'd be taking our coffee at the bar and standing, as most Romans would do.
Yeah, because you would never take away.
No.
Right? I mean,
No.
The idea of taking coffee in a plastic
No
or paper
Starbucks.
cup is...
No, it destroys the whole feeling, the essence, the the joy of it, to be honest with you. When you stand up next to the bar with other Romans and you take your coffee and you eat your cornetto, you feel a part of the tradition. You feel like you're continuing the essence of the coffee culture here. It's much different than the American coffee culture. Theirs is more
Drive-through.
Yes. Fast food version of it. There's not a lot of sitting and people watching because work has to be done, policies have to be made, and things like that. So when you do get the opportunity to sit and enjoy a coffee, it's a wonderful luxury, I would say.
And that's what Caffè Greco is known for then, is, again, this beautiful area to sit in.
Exactly, yeah. And it's kind of one of those times where the Romans would kind of take a little pausa and take a little more of a relaxed approach to their coffee. It was founded in 1760. What's really cool about it, though, is there was a gentleman by the name of Lord Byron from England who actually started this whole idea of the Italian Grand Tour.
Okay.
And this was where he would always have his coffee when he came to Rome. So it kind of became a part of the stop along the Grand Tour for the English aristocrats.
As it is for us now.
Exactly, as it is for us today as well. Because we rode our Vespas here,
Yes,
and so we're
right,
on a Grand Tour as well. You're on a Grand Tour.
Well, I had a nice shave and haircut this morning. It's a shame to even put on my hat. My haircut's so nice. It was a real marvel to see Antonio working with his scissors and then the shave. I mean, whenever you are in the presence of someone who has trained for so long, there is it's almost like ballet. There is a beauty and an elegance and like a flow to it, I guess is the word I'm looking for, that is just effortless. And so to see him, cutting and shaving, I mean, it was as beautiful to watch as it was to experience.
I wish we could have been there. That kind of sounds like an exciting time.
It sounds like a movie, like dramatic.
The cool thing about Italy is, after the war, when Italy had lost the war and became a little more impoverished, for young men to help out their families, they went into 3 trades mostly. So they went into either shoemaking, barbering, haircutting, or they went into tailoring. And so it's really, when you get a chance to explore those crafts here in Italy, it's something that has a long and rich tradition behind it.
Yeah. One of my favorite ways to enjoy a city is by really getting out and experiencing it. So if I have the opportunity to go get a haircut or a wet shave, thank you.
Grazie. Allora, caffè con pana per lei.
Sì, per me, grazie.
Beautiful.
Un caffè per lui.
Espresso macchiato.
Ah, un espresso macchiato. Grazie. Grazie. So, to explain a little of what we're having, caffè macchiato, which you know already, is espresso with a mark to foam. Rachel's having a caffè con pana, which is espresso with
Whipped cream.
Whipped cream, thank you.
Of course.
And then mine is a regular espresso, but in a glass. And thought behind this is that, this, when you taste it in a glass, there's a different aroma and the way that the coffee works within this glass as opposed to a tazzina, which is what we normally take it with.
Really? Interesting. Yeah. Well,
salute, chin chin.
Cheers, salute.
So as I was saying, one of my favorite ways to experience a city is, to get out, to walk it, and to really live in it.
Yes.
And one of the ways I do that is if I have an opportunity to go to get a haircut or a shave, I always try to make the effort to do it. I think, as cliched as it may sound, shopping is also a really great way to experience a city, so long as you're doing it at boutiques that are unique and authentic to that
city.
Definitely.
Right?
Because then why go to that city?
Yes.
So, coming to Rome to buy at a high street, fashion house to me is not experiencing that city. But going and finding, the tailor that's only in Rome, or a bookstore, or a place that sells stationery and paper.
Yes.
Right.
To be able to collect those items is one of the things that gives me memories whenever I get back home.
Yeah.
And then seeing it on foot, of course, is
better.
beautiful.
Even better. And
Especially Rome.
Especially Rome, in our opinion.
Yes.
I think we walk, usually when we're here, we average about 10 miles a day in walking just because.
Just love to walk around here.
Yeah, and you don't feel it, so it's fantastic.
I mean, again, whenever I'm here in Rome, which is not that often, it's the first time in a long time, I'm just struck how, and so many places in Europe, which has an incredible history. I mean, we're all American,
yes,
right? I mean, our country barely has 250 years of history.
Exactly.
Yes.
In England and France and the continental Europe, I mean, you've got hundreds of years of history. But here in Italy, you have thousands.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
walking a city like Rome, where you have so many of these ancient Roman, monuments, really puts that into perspective.
Does, yeah. And you
Yeah.
could walk down a street and be in, 200 years ago and keep going down that street and you'll see something from thousands of years ago. And so the whole city's kind of interlaced with its history. And it's quite exciting to see.
Yeah.
Even when we used to live here, our first apartment had, I think, an arch in it that was just
So old.
from
forever
thousands
ago.
of years ago. The rest of the apartment normal. The arch, thousands of years ago.
Exactly.
Anyway, I'm excited. I mean, there's been great coincidence that you guys are here in Rome at the same time.
Yeah.
I know.
I appreciate you guys taking some time to accompany me today.
It was great to see you here.
And then what better tour guide of Rome than Eric, reliving his memories as a young lad.
It'll be exciting. It'll be exciting to kind of show you and everybody else, kind of how we see Rome and how we lived here and its experience and its how it shapes us, not only in how we act, but also in how we tailor and make.
Yeah.
I mean, you trained here, 14 years ago?
14 years ago.
At the tailoring school.
Yes.
But you were living here together, married at the same time.
We were.
And then how long was that? 6 months? A year?
That we were here?
Yeah.
3 years.
3 years?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
that's, for some reason, I thought it was much shorter than that. 3 years.
It was a long, challenging, and wonderful 3 years.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. It was something you could only do, I guess, young and recently
I think
married.
so.
Because
Yeah, that was
otherwise, in our old age, we wouldn't have the tolerance of poverty.
Yeah, the gumption.
That's how when we were advised to do that move, a friend of ours said, if you don't have any kids and you don't
That's
own the
true.
house that you're living in, what's stopping you?
Yeah.
And he said, you're young enough, so why not? And we
That's
both
true.
kind of took that advice and said,
Right.
yeah, that's kind of true. Glad we did.
Well, let's go have a day out.
Yeah, let's go, let's
Well,
go
I'm
enjoy
gonna-
the city.
I'm going to actually head out and go shopping with some of my Roman friends and
Okay.
meet up for the day.
Okay.
So I'm excited to hear later what you guys do.
Yeah, and we'll see you at the rooftop on
Yes.
Portrait Roma.
Yes.
Fantastic.
For aperitivo.
Ah, brilliant. I'm looking forward to that. Well, enjoy your day.
Thank you.
Thank you for meeting
You
us
both
with
as well.
some coffee. And shall we?
Yeah, let's go, Kirby. It's good coffee.
Yeah, well, nice breakfast, proper Italian start to the day.
Exactly.
Um,
Beautiful Caffè Greco.
And here we are for the stroll. So, where are we now?
So right now we're on Via Condotti, which is where all the main big fashion houses are. You've got your Gucci, your Ferragamo, everything else like that. It's a really beautiful, beautiful street. What's cool about it is, all the fashion houses kind of become, they're stationed here.
Yeah.
But all the real fashion, what Rome was built off of, are the tailors.
Yeah.
And so they're kind of now outside of this area, but kind of circling it. So you have Litrico, Gallo, and Caracini all in that area.
So Caracini's here.
Yeah. So you have the Caracini brothers, which are the fratelli of the Caracini. And then, you have Gallo here, and then who he trained under, which was Litrico.
Okay.
So Gaetano Alassio is here as well. So the backs of the tailors kind of are now what's hoisting up these fashion houses. So it's kind of taking, advantage of the history that the tailors, have created.
Yeah. Well, it's really interesting how so much is consolidated within fashion.
Yeah.
I mean, I would imagine, 30, 40 years ago, if you came to Rome, the majority of all the shops on this street would have been unique to Rome.
Yeah, they would have been artisanal. They would have been artisan,
Yeah.
So you have a little bit more of that kind of feeling. Whereas now it's kind of been taken over.
Yeah. And what's interesting is what I'm seeing is that there's actually very few Italian houses. It's predominantly dominated by the French.
Exactly. So you have a bunch of different, you almost have a worldwide collection here,
Yeah.
which is sad. You kind of lose that history and tradition that you're kind of wanting, especially on a street like Via Condotti, which is the high street.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's still beautiful. Buildings are beautiful.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I can't complain. Piazza di Spagna in the background, nothing wrong with that.
Interesting. Yeah. But it is interesting how, even in Italy, this country did give rise to some of the greatest fashion brands in the world. And
Yes.
here we are in front of Buccellati. I mean, this is one of those incredible Italian houses founded in Milan, really taking inspiration to the work that I saw on the Ponte Vecchio in Florence, you know, with the incredible intricate carving and engraving.
Yeah, the work that they do with jewelry and you know, pieces like that is just incredible.
Yeah.
And, you know, still keep that handmade kind of traditional eye with the hand engraving and things like that.
And the detail that the Italians bring to everything they do, I have to say, is really astounding.
It's incredible.
And Bucciolati, again, is kind of on those bucket lists for Bianca. She really would love something. I think we've got a picture frame from Bucciolati.
Oh, do you really?
They do really nice picture frames, engraved, solid sterling.
Maybe I'll get one for Rachel and
so
mark that off the list.
That's as close as we've gotten. And then Brunello Cucinelli.
Another kind of newer brand.
I mean, whenever I first started traveling to Pitti Uomo, I remember Brunello Cucinelli was like just hitting the world stage. And they had this cult following at Pitti. I remember, you know, Bianca and I, like, we were able to somehow work an invitation to their big party.
To the dinner?
Yeah. And, you know, now they're really, I mean, again, have become a global brand.
Completely.
You know, here they are, you know, in Rome. They've got a store in Highland Park Village. I'm sure they've got it in New York.
Yeah, they're everywhere. I mean, the stage that they had at Pitti Uomo this last time was, or the booth they had was just gigantic.
Yeah. And the ones that have survived, I mean, these heritage Italian brands, I think have done a really good job of maintaining that sense of Italianness, you know, whatever that might be.
I mean, well, that's why you buy Italian brands. You know, you want that history, that tradition, that lifestyle. I mean, like, no one lives like the Italians.
Yeah.
And to kind of import that into your brand and kind of give that to the client is something that I think is very important for Italian brands to hold on to.
Yeah. Do you find that the Italian brands are more lifestyle oriented, whereas the French brands are real, like, super status oriented?
Yeah. I mean, to me, just from Italian tailoring and how I learned the craft and the trade, it's all about lifestyle. We want you to live in your suit. We want you to enjoy your suit. We want you to be able to feel like this is not like a special piece that you hold off to the side, but you spend your life in it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, in my opinion, Italian brands, to me, are quintessential lifestyle.
Yeah.
Very important. So next, I think we should go to one of my favorite piazzas, Piazza Rotonda, which has an incredible view of the Pantheon, great gelato, great cafés as well.
Yeah. Well, so, shall we? Which direction?
We're going this way.
Okay, excellent. Stilo Fetti. This is a pin shop. I think it's one of the oldest in all of Rome.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Founded in, what is it?
It's 1893.
So do the math.
5 generations.
5 generations. So again, going back to what I was talking about earlier, one of the things I love about traveling is the opportunity to pop into these small shops that are unique to the city in which you're visiting. And unfortunately, it's become increasingly difficult to find them.
Yes.
But I love a nice pen, especially a nice fountain pen.
Well, we should definitely go in, especially because it's located right by the Pantheon.
Yeah.
So a great place to stop before you get to the
Let's pop in. Great, grazie.
Yeah.
Okay, grazie, ciao. Well, that was great. So, you know, a little bit of a find, if you will. So,
what'd you get?
An incredible pen. So this is a pen, limited edition from a company called Leonardo, which is an Italian company. And it was made as a limited edition series of 7 for this specific shop.
Only.
And I got the last one, numbered 4.
No way.
So it's kind of one of those things where you've got to go in and look at these places. You never know what you're going to find. But again, it speaks to this idea of being able to experience a city through these independent shops, and then just the incredible gems you find that now whenever I'm writing with this beautiful fountain pen, it'll remind me of this shop, the beautiful family, 5 generations.
Exactly.
And of course now the Pantheon. Shall we?
Let's go.
Amazing.
Now we enter into Piazza Rotonda,
Okay.
which houses the Pantheon.
Uh-huh.
So you can see behind us the beautiful Pantheon. You see the front part with the columns?
Yeah.
That was the original structure.
Okay.
And then part of it burned down. So the Roman Empire decided that they would build another structure behind it that encompasses the famous dome in the middle with the open in the center. And it was actually made for the god, so that's why it's the Pantheon.
Wow.
Now the Catholic Church owns it, so it's made for one god.
That's right. That's amazing. What year was it built?
It was built around actually 25 BC,
That's
which is
amazing.
kind of incredible.
So over 2,000 years old.
Yeah.
Now, this is Rome. Yeah.
Yes, this is Rome, exactly.
Okay.
And there's one other thing I'd love to show you.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
All you. Of course.
Camarelli.
Camarelli.
Yes.
This is an amazing place that, of course, is unique to Rome.
Yeah, very much so. Doing all the work, the sartorial work with the
With the church, yeah.
with the Holy See, the church, the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
For generations and generations.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. So, I mean, oftentimes whenever we think of tailoring, we think of men's suits and
Yes.
gentlemen, but the ecclesiastical tailoring of the Catholic Church and the Anglican Church is,
Has to be taken care of.
is incredible. I mean, look at these vestments in the garment in the window.
Yeah.
And it's some of the most intricate work probably being done today.
Exactly. Yeah, and all the handwork and the details that go into each piece is actually incredible.
Yeah,
Stunning.
the quality, the craftsmanship,
Quality,
the tradition.
tradition.
Huh. Well, beautiful walking tour.
Yeah, hope you
And
enjoyed it. Got
I
to show
think,
you a little bit of our city.
yeah, we should probably go check in on Rachel.
Sounds great.
Maybe a drink.
Maybe a drink. Wow, that is a beautiful view, huh? Hello.
Nice to see you.
That's beautiful.
Well, what a splendid day we had.
That was incredible, wasn't it?
You know, I have to say, Rome, it's been a long time since I've been here.
When was the last time?
It must have been 10 years. It was
way.
long before children, overrun with tourists and very crowded.
Yeah.
And that was probably the only impression that stuck with me. And today on our walk, I'm just struck at the beauty of Rome, its antiquity, its history.
It's incredible.
And as someone that's spent a lot of time in London, of course, and in Paris, which have hundreds of years of history, here in Rome, we're talking about thousands.
Yeah.
It's true.
And you can see this, it's incredible.
Yeah, it's incredible. And it's amazing to see all the history that's built around Rome and how much effort is put into each piece. You know, as we walked around the city together and we saw, each kind of tourist attraction, if you will.
Yeah.
Each area had so much art built into it, so much history built into it, and you could see that, and it stands the test of time, and it's kind of incredible.
Yeah, well, I mean, it goes back to, as we talk a lot about here, quality, craftsmanship, and tradition.
Exactly.
Things that are built well are built to last.
built to
And here
last.
in Rome, I mean, I'm astounded that, something like the Pantheon, thousands of years old, you've got the Senate, which is, again, from pagan times,
Yeah, exactly.
right? I mean, predating Christ.
Yeah.
And here in Rome, this is just part of the backdrop.
Yeah, it is. And it's kind of incredible to see all these pieces woven into the city, and you kind of get that history, of the city throughout. So you're walking along and you've got the Aurelian Wall in one area, and then you move on and you've got,
And
Piazza
I think
Navona.
that's what inspired us when you were apprenticing and,
Exactly.
at the school here in Rome was the architecture, the history,
Sartorial
Yeah.
and historical and tradition.
Yeah.
historical.
I mean, it's an interesting point that you raise in that, that you can't help but think that the ambient environment somehow influences people in the craft.
It has to.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because whenever we think of tailoring, shoe making, shirt making, or any of the, of kind of the trades, that those have existed themselves for hundreds of years.
Exactly.
And in Florence, we saw that with gold making,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
the jewelry making. In Siena, we saw that with wine making. In Naples, of course, with Rubinacci and with Marinella.
Yeah.
I mean, two firms that, don't stretch back hundreds of years, but certainly stretch back to the turn of the 20th century.
Yeah, and they have a huge tradition in the craft of bespoke and in the craft of tailoring. I mean, Rubinacci, employed the man who basically came up with the Napoleon style suit, which is highly influenced. We're highly influenced by it. So yeah, it's an incredible thing to see, all the rich traditions of Italy and how each region influences the artisans there and the craftsmanship there.
Well, it's fascinating to kind of see how all of that really collapses and collides. And Italy, which is, was only a republic, a little bit over 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Prior to that was a bunch of independent kingdoms.
Exactly.
And these seagulls, I have to say, are another surprise.
Rome is notorious for their seagulls, and you're always dodging them, especially when you're at high up points with food involved.
I know. Well, they sound like cats almost,
Yeah.
don't they?
Like they're kind.
I mean, they're the size of penguins.
Yes.
These things are so large.
Well, they eat well,
Yeah, they eat well.
like the rest of the Romans.
Yeah.
I'm terrified he's going to attack me. Anyway, this craft is inescapable at every turn.
Yes.
And is unique to each area. Another thing that I really enjoyed seeing, and I hope I have the opportunity to go back, is Gammarelli.
Oh yeah, that's
which,
fantastic, isn't it?
Of course, is the tailor to the Pope.
Yep.
And does a bunch of ecclesiastical tailoring, dating back over 150 years.
Exactly.
And
there's a huge tradition and
massive
in
tradition.
it. Yeah.
And Gammarelli, I mean, is so unique to Rome,
Yes.
right? Its proximity to the Vatican. The Vatican, of course, being around, for thousands of years, has influenced that culture of craft. And here in Rome, it's inescapable and it's beautiful.
Exactly. Inescapable, and you see it everywhere. And that's, kind of what drew us to the city and how we learned our craft as well, and how we understood the trade of tailoring.
Yeah.
And, it's something that we've definitely tried to hold to fast.
So Eric and I, of course, had an incredible day.
Yeah.
So thank you for allowing us to go gallivant
Sounded
ourselves.
amazing.
But how was your day? I mean, what was it that you did here in Rome? I mean, this is a place you've spent a lot of time. How does Rachel Jensen spend her afternoon?
Well, it's a dream for a woman to go shopping here. So I went shopping on Via Condotti, which is known for shopping. I also like to find kind of the smaller boutiques, like things that you won't find necessarily in the United States. I got my favorite pizza rosa, which is like a Roman pizza taglio. It's a type of pizza you get at lunchtime. I met up with a couple friends here, and then we just had some Prosecco and enjoyed the day.
Yeah, well, that's not bad.
That doesn't sound bad to me.
It may have had more fun than we did.
Exactly.
So one of the things that I also enjoyed so much about our time together, right, is that in Rome, because it was built long before vehicles.
Yes.
I mean,
Barely
even, you didn't even have carriages back then, barely. I just love how incredibly walkable it is. And like we saw that on our day today, which is that, just walking from the Spanish Steps, finding a nice cafe, ordering a cappuccino only before 10 a.m.
Yes, bravo.
And a croissant, and then just getting lost in the city and its beauty.
Definitely.
The Pantheon. I mean, it's like, the Trevi Fountain. I mean, you don't even have to try hard,
No.
and you're stumbling
That's one of
upon
our
this
favorite
incredible
things to
history.
do.
Yeah,
I
it
think
totally
it's
is.
to get lost.
It's just get lost, and
Walk.
people don't realize how walkable the city
Yeah.
is, and how it's easy to get from point A to point B, and even get lost along the way.
Yeah.
And usually, when you get lost along the way, you find.
Yeah. Well, I think getting lost for me is always an opportunity to have a gelato. Well, Eric, Rachel, I mean, of course, two people that have a long history here in Rome. I
Yes,
mean,
we
you
do.
starting your tailoring career here,
14 years ago.
training in Rome 14 years ago. Now, you guys were married back then?
Yes, we
right?
were.
We were.
So newlyweds,
Newlyweds.
and then here, in Rome, kind of starting your lives, to be back 14 years later in your company is incredible for me.
That's exciting. It's surreal to me to be able to be here with you,
Yeah.
Kirby.
I know.
So.
It's like full circle. We finally, have arrived, So thank you for sharing your time with me. Thank you for sharing your knowledge of the city and your memories and stories and history. And then the hotel that you guys are staying at.
It's just
I mean, what a
our
hidden
favorite.
gem.
Yes,
favorite.
it's our favorite place to stay. It's Portrait Roma. The incredible thing about it is this rooftop is only for guests. So It's very private. You can smoke a cigar up here, have a fantastic Negroni, one of my favorites in the city.
Incredible view.
And I was going to say, look at that. Yeah. So
Yeah. And interesting fact is you were telling me that it's actually owned by the Ferragamo family.
it is, yeah. So
Which-
actually, everybody upon arrival in your bathroom, you have a little his and hers Ferragamo perfume that's yours to keep.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
Perfume,
nice.
cologne for male and woman. One of the things I love about the hotel is the service is just incredible. They really get to know you, your personal preferences, and we've always loved staying here, and they always treat their guests like beyond.
Yeah,
well.
exceedingly
Yeah.
well.
I mean, there can't be 30 rooms.
No, yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, I would be surprised if there were 20.
Right,
Yeah, definitely.
exactly.
And that's the beauty of the place.
Yeah. And in a city that is, in fact, very crowded,
Yes.
I think in many ways it's refreshing to be able to come back to a
Oh,
hotel at the end of the day
absolutely.
that's not.
Exactly.
Peaceful,
Yeah,
nice
said
view.
very well, Kirby.
Yeah.
Complimenti.
And I'm having an Aperol spritz. I think, Rachel, you have a Campari spritz, which is more bitter,
Yes.
as I'm
Yes.
told. And then Eric with his
Have to have a classic.
his classic Negroni. So cheers to you two.
Cheers.
Cheers to quality craftsmanship and tradition. And more importantly, cheers to time in Rome with great friends. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you.
I mean, even better at night.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Beautiful.